Hey everybody, what's up? NGS back again for another episode of Let's Just Talk, where I sit back, relax, and talk to you guys about the games I've been playing over the past couple of weeks. I say past couple of weeks, but the game we're going to be talking about in question today, I actually have not played in the past couple of months. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about Destiny. This is Destiny for the PlayStation 4, and I want you guys to focus on what it says right there. Developed by Bungie, published by Activision. I'm just going to come straight out and say I was severely disappointed with Destiny. Destiny being one of the premier next-gen focused titles, one of the most anticipated games of 2014, if not the most anticipated game of the year. 180 awards and nominations, so much hype from when this was revealed. I, unlike many others, was very skeptical about Destiny before it got unveiled. I think that Bungie breaking from Microsoft was a good decision if they wanted to go and do more creative things outside of Halo. But then partnering with Activision just felt like you're going from one spawn of Satan to another spawn of Satan. Activision is not known for developer freedom. They're not known for creating the most interesting, innovative, and unique games. More often than not, they're known for gutting their teams that don't make money. They're known for milking, rehashing. You guys already know this entire story. But when Destiny was unveiled, I thought to myself, hey, that actually looks pretty cool. They're mixing and matching a lot of the things that made some of the games of recent years good. You know, a lot of people say it's like Borderlands mixed with some MMO elements, and you've got the pedigree of Bungie behind it. Bungie, regardless of what people say about Halo, whether or not they like it, their name holds a lot of weight. They do fantastic work for co-op and online games. So it just seemed like everything was going according to plan. They put out a beta. The beta is very fun, smooth, solid gameplay. Fantastic. The alpha comes out, just as good. Then the game drops a couple months later. And what are we left with? So this is going to be kind of all over the place because it's kind of hard to formulate my thoughts when I'm just so like, what the hell happened to this game? First and foremost, I want to tackle what Destiny is at its core. Destiny is an online-focused first-person shooter quasi-MMO. And when I say quasi-MMO, I mean just that. This is a game that takes the most bare bones, minimal aspects of an MMO and puts it on a first-person shooter. And by most bare bone aspects, I'm speaking bare bones. You have a hub where you can communicate with fellow players. You have a place for you to go and store your equipment, your inventory. You have a place for you to get missions from a master or whatever. And that's basically it. That's it. And this is where I'm just so disappointed in it. Because Bungie is known for such fantastic online with Halo and all of the past games they've done in that series. Halo 2, 3, Halo Reach. Such good online focused games. And you go over to this and everything just seems so lifeless. Like they were trying to go for this MMO aspect, but it's not really an MMO. They don't want to go and add in the cool things about an MMO. Alright? The things that it's lacking are basic things that you would see in World of Warcraft, in Final Fantasy XIV, in Guild Wars. So, that I do not understand. Why are you going and trying to make this quasi-MMO when it doesn't even have the good functions of an MMO? Alright? And they swear up and down that it's not an MMO, it's not an MMO, it's not an MMO, but it looks like they're trying to be one, except not as good. So, the entire story, if you can call it that, is pretty dang confusing. I wouldn't say it's confusing, it just feels like there was a story, and then towards the end of development, an eerily creepy hand just came in and plopped out certain parts of the story from the middle, from the beginning, the ending, and you're just left with fragments of a story. Because it really honestly doesn't make much sense. Now, that's not to say that Bungie is a bad storyteller. Bungie has a good narrative, at the very least. But it just feels like somebody stuck their hand where it didn't belong, took all the good stuff out, and held it for a later date. I'm not saying any conspiracies with these expansion packs that you could pre-order when the game came out. I'm not saying that they held things back to sell it to you later. Now, I'm not saying that at all, but it does seem kind of suspicious that a lot of the things that they advertised for Destiny, from the previous E3 conferences and everything we've seen, it seems a lot more grandiose and looking like it had an epic story than what we had now, which is basically more or less a tutorial for you to go and level up your character. All those cool things that we've seen have been removed from the game. Where did they go? Who knows? So, one of the more advertised features of the game is that you can play as one of 3 different classes. You have Hunter, you have Titan, and you have a Warlock. And everyone said, oh, these classes play so different, they're so unique because they have different guns, different armor, different abilities. No. At the very end of the day, these classes play exactly the same. There are no major differences between the two that's going to be like, oh, if I play as this character, I'm going to get a special thing. It's like I said, trying to be like an MMO, but not as good. So whether you're playing Titan, Warlock, or a Hunter, you're not going to be getting like these crazy things. You only have like one ability attached to it that's going to separate from you from your other companions. There's nothing that's going to make it seem like, oh man, we got to have a Warlock to do this certain dungeon, and then for this one we're going to have the Titan go and tank this enemy. Nothing like that. And I'm just wondering to myself, why is this such a big deal again? Really? That's something that didn't make sense to me. And while the worlds are very beautiful, that is something I gotta commend Bungie on. This is probably the most beautiful game that I've seen on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. I do not know how they achieve these visuals with a steady, consistent frame rate. This is a very beautiful game. And the shooting mechanics, very, very good. You know, it's a step up from Halo, and it just feels fun to play. It feels so good in your hands when you're going and shooting the enemies. Everything about that is just fantastic. But the worlds themselves feel so lifeless. While they're beautiful and you can definitely see that, wow, this is definitely space, they don't seem so interesting because you're limited with the amount of planets that you're able to explore. That's another thing that really pissed me off. It's all about exploring space, yet it's so limited at the same time, and everything seems so lifeless. That's something I just didn't understand. Like, so much missed opportunity with this game for so much content and endless hours playing the game. But what it evolves to at the end of the game is nothing but a grind fest for certain things. You have to go and do certain missions, fight certain bosses, time in and time out just for you to get a certain item drop. An item drop you're not even guaranteed after beating the bosses. It's all about this random number generator where you and your friend, who you guys are going and beating this dungeon, he might do no work in the game whatsoever, yet he gets the powerful item drop, the rare item drop, yet you get another useless piece of armor. And there's no trading whatsoever. Now, Bungie says, oh, we're doing this so we can, eliminate people going and auctioning their items, but why can't you make it so you can trade with the people who were in your party from the very beginning of the mission? I'm all for, making sure that the game is fair, balanced, and fun, so you don't have a bunch of people running around here with exotic weapons, but when you can't even trade weapons with your friend in the game who can't even use that item? Are you serious? How is this promoting online, a competent online game? It makes no sense. So, while the game at its very core is functioning, everything else just seems so lifeless. It just seems like there was so much of this game that was taken out at the very last minute so we can sell downloadable content down the road. And that's what really disappoints me, because there is so much potential in this game. It got so hyped, and now it's devolved into nothing but a grind fest for items that you may or may not get. So the main thing about Destiny is that it is an MMO. It is not an MMO. And it's also not as good as a wannabe MMO. It makes no sense. It seriously does not. And it's so disappointing that this is coming from Bungie. You know, these guys done such great work with online, and it shows in this game. Smooth, stable online for the majority of the time that I've been playing it. Basically no issues whatsoever outside of, server problems sometimes, but that's to be expected. But all this other stuff, it reeks. It really does reek of corporate greed and Activision and Bobby Kotick, trying to take advantage of this new franchise. And that's extremely disappointing for me. I bought this game day one expecting so much more, but maybe I should have trusted my gut. The only positive thing I can say outside of the things I've already said is that this is a great chat room game. This is a great game to get on, talk to your friends, do a couple of BS missions, and that's basically it. It's also got one of the best dancing functions I've seen in any game. I'm telling you, the dancing in this game, that little command you got to do? You're just going around and dancing. When you get a bunch of people out there in that little hub area on Earth or whatever, you're just dancing over there. This thing rivals Just Dance, bro. I'm not even kidding. It's awesome. But Destiny gets a very disappointing let's just talk video from me. It could have been so much more, and honestly, all I'm saying is that I'm hoping somewhere down the line they'll be able to patch in all this stuff. All this stuff that everybody was wanting, but I think they're probably going to save that for the next game when that comes out. Destiny 2. They're already developing it, so all we can do is just hope for the best. But if I see that it is just as disappointing as this one, I don't see myself picking up another Bungie game for a very long time. At least until this 10-year deal with Activision is over. I want to thank you guys for watching this very depressing episode of Let's Just Talk. I'm a GS signing out. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.